Hi, welcome back to Adobe Illustrator CC 2021, Class Read a Book, Chapter 5. This is Part 3 of Transforming Artwork. When we left off, we just barely rotated our spokes. Now we're going to go ahead and play with a little bit with the free transform. So that free transform is a multi-purpose tool that allows us to distort objects, combine them, move them, scale them, do a lot of really fun stuff. So let's go ahead and go to our main infographic and use that. Let's grab our selection tool and grab our buildings. From there, we're going to go ahead and make a shadow of the buildings. So we're going to do this by making a copy. So let's go edit and copy. And let's do an edit. We're going to do paste in back. Now we're going to go ahead and play with it. So we want to go to our edit the toolbar. From the edit the toolbar, we're going to go ahead and grab our free transform. So let's go ahead and come down. And you have to scroll quite a bit. It's toward the bottom. And I already have mine on there. So let me go ahead and move it back off. Go back. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and put my free transform on. I'm going to go ahead and put it under my rotate. And I'm going to go ahead and put my puppet warp there as well. So those are two different things we're going to be using. Once you've got those added, go ahead and do escape so you can do those. So now we're going to go ahead and choose our free transform. Somehow I put it with a knife. Oh, well, that's okay. Let's go ahead and we see we've got a couple different things coming up. So the first one is constrain. The second one is free transform. And the third one is going to be perspective distort. And the last one's free distort. So the first thing we're going to do is do, excuse me, we're going to take our pointer over the top middle of the selected buildings. You're going to see we're going to get kind of a funky cursor that kind of looks like arrow points. So we want to go ahead and we're going to free transform. We're going to shear it just a little bit. So let's go ahead and shear it until we have created kind of a background. And let's take it all the way over until we cover, we're actually going to turn this into a shadow. So until we hit about the W. And then we'll go ahead and release. So now let's go ahead and change that fill into black. And we're going to go ahead and change the opacity down to about 20%. And hit enter. And you don't have to worry about the letters, they're not going to show. And we're good with that, so select and deselect. Sorry, I did drink water. All right, now we're going to go ahead and shear some objects and make part of the road. So when we shear, we're going to kind of skew. So let's grab our selection tool. Let's go ahead and grab our road. From our road, we're going to go ahead and draw a rectangle. So go find your rectangle tool. I'm going to draw a rectangle. Let's see, how big does it need to be? Let's go ahead and make it, I know it says somewhere, but I can't tell. Because we're making the dashes. It works for me. So we're going to go ahead and make the dashes there. Let's go ahead and change that fill color. And change it to dark green. So my fill is now going to be dark green. So it's next to the blue that it's on right now. Let's go ahead now and choose to shear it. So let's go ahead and grab our shear, which is by the rotate. So it's still there. We've got our rotate. Let's come down and grab shear. From shear, we're going to use the shift key to make sure we keep the original height. And we're going to go ahead and hold it until we get to about a -130. So see how it kind of works that way. And we can always go through and fix it later. Oh, I got it. Awesome. All right, so I've got my shear if you truly want to make sure it's totally perfect, go double click your shear, and you can do a -130 right in there and get it totally where you want it to be. All right, from there we're going to go ahead and we want to make multiple lines in our road. So let's do object, transform and move. Object, transforms at the top, and we want to do move. It's going to pop that up for us. We want to go ahead and change that horizontal position to be 3.2. We want the vertical position to be 0. And we want to go ahead and make sure we put copy. So it's actually going to make a second one for us. Now we're going to go ahead and make 3 more. So we're going to do Command D on a Mac or Control D. And that will make a few more copies for us. So we've got our road going on there. And mine's coming off the thing a little bit, so I could go through and grab Shift. Grab back, undo. I want to do my selection tool and Shift. Redo one more. Edit, redo. Okay, now I want to grab my Shift, grab all those at once, and do some kind of an arrow key and bring it back on. So it depends on how big you made your dots in the first place. I made mine pretty long. Let's do a Control S and save that one. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and grab our bicyclist. We're going to bring them up here. So let's do a Control minus so we can see our bicyclist down here. Let's go ahead with our selection tool, grab our bicycle person, bring him up, undo. There we go. I got the whole thing. And we're going to kind of put the tires on the road here a little bit. And we want them to be kind of centered around the 65 and 47. So I'm going to go ahead and let go of that. And I am going to play with the blue, so don't worry that it's flying bike right now. So now we're going to go ahead and shift click those flowers. So let's grab the flower and shift and grab that extra one. And let's go ahead and move those down just a little tiny bit. And we'll probably move the bicycle down just a little bit too. I'm going to grab my bicycle again. Let's move them down. Kind of depends on where you've got things lined up. All right. So now let's go ahead and grab that blue and bring it up to the bottom of the tires. I'm going to click on my bicyclist again. I want to go to arrange. I want it to bring it to front so she's in front of all those other things. And let's go ahead and do a Control S and save. So now we're going to do something called puppet warp. So we can actually make her look a little bit more natural, add a little bit of movement to it. So let's click on our bicyclist. We're going to click and hold the free transform and find that puppet warp that we added. I'm going to go ahead and grab my puppet warp depending on where you put it. You're going to see it's going to add some pins to your artwork. This holds the artwork so you can create some pivot points. So in your properties panel, you should have one that says show mesh or hide mesh. We're going to go ahead and hide the mesh because it makes it just a little bit easier to see. So we want to click the pin near the end of the scarf, and without letting go, we're going to go ahead and drag it around, and you can kind of see how you can change her body and change the way the scarf is. So we're going to go ahead and put it somewhere where you like it, somewhere natural. All right, and then usually we add a few more as well. So we might not like where it is. We can do it undo, put it back where it was. Let's do something a little bit different. Let's go ahead and do an option drag or an alt drag, and notice how we don't move the body as much. So we're just moving the scarf, which is a little bit nicer then. So I'm going to move it down underneath this Chicago. Let go of my mouse, let go of my alt. So I'm pretty happy there. So now I want to go ahead and twist her head just a little bit, but I don't want to twist it from where it is right now, because if I do that, it's going to look really weird. So I'm going to undo. I'm going to go ahead with my pins. I'm going to delete those 2 pins that are on her head. This is going to adjust my scarf just a little bit. And I want to go ahead and add a couple new pins. So let's go ahead. I'm going to add one where her neck would be as a pivot point and just a little bit below a little bit below as well. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I can go ahead and with this one selected, I can go outside, I can rotate, and I can move her head in a lot of different ways. It is a little bit creepy. So maybe we're going to make her going really fast. We just want to make her happy. Totally up to you as to how you're going to do it. Then you can go back and move your scarf accordingly. Maybe you want to add another pin in your scarf so you can kind of go around it. If you don't like how your scarf is, you can always delete that, do it again. Maybe we're going to add one here. Ooh, it gave her a really long scarf. That's fun. So it's going to get stuck in her wheels. So let's add another one right there. All right, that's better. So the scarf can be totally what you like. Puppet warp is totally up to you as to how you're going to make it work. So let's do a view and a fit all in window and see what we've got. So we now have our 3 pieces of our infographic. We have done quite a few different things, and I'm not seeing my numbers popping through. So I'm going to click on my numbers and let's do arrange and a bring to front. There we go. Now my numbers are popping back through. I'm happy with it. I'm going to do a Control S and save, and from there I'm going to go ahead and package. So file and package. I'm going to make sure I'm in my right folder, which for this one is chapter 5. So I'm going to go to my desktop or your drive, wherever you've got it. I'm going to go to my lessons. I'm in lesson number 5 and save. Select that folder. Instead of the word folder, I'm going to write PKG so I know which one I packaged, and package. I'm going to tell it to show the package. I'm going to go back 1 level. I'm going to do a right click and send to compressed folder. I'm going to get my zipped one, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn that zipped one into the canvas for the assignment. So I hope you've learned a few things about how to transform artwork today. See you later.